Hey sippers, thank you for joining us for Cocktails and Conversations with a Twist. Remember, while we're spilling, grab your cocktail and start sipping.
Tonight, we have a special guest joining us to discuss positive mental awareness and what it means to feed your mental. We'll also be spilling about a woman from Indiana being killed shortly after exposing two men on Facebook. Stay tuned.
We are here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram at Cocktails and Conversations. And most importantly, do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Sippers, don't forget we still have our Bedazzled flasks for sale. Purchasing info will be listed in the description box below.
All right, sippers, tonight's featured cocktail is called the Cherub's Cub Cocktail. Yeah, it's a tongue twister. It can easily become a new favorite for just about anyone. This drink is both sweet and dry with a tinge of flavors that are both intriguing and refreshing. Drink details will be listed below, and don't forget to tag us when you try this drink.
Our special guest tonight is a self-published author, speaker, advocate for domestic violence survivors. Let's give a warm welcome to Majida Smith.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. I am Majida Smith, author of the book God's Gonna Make It Good, A Journey to Forgiveness. You can find it at www.majidasmith.com, also on amazon.com and barnesandnoble.com. All my social media contacts will be listed below.
Thank you for joining us today. You are the author of God's Gonna Make It Good. So what inspired you to write this book?
Okay, first my inspiration was my testimony of getting out of an abusive marriage and then finding forgiveness to the person that caused that pain, and then the testimony of what God did for me through the process.
I know a lot of times people talk about the forgiveness, but because I also was in an abusive relationship, I feel like forgiving the person was easier than forgiving myself. I think that's the part I struggled with. So did you have any struggles with forgiving yourself?
Well, the thing about forgiveness is a lot of times we want to wait for an apology, and sometimes that will never happen. So on the spiritual aspect, God says if you don't forgive someone, he can't forgive you.
That's the truth.
So for me, forgiveness was easy because I don't feel anyone is worth my soul. I don't feel that anyone is worth coming in between my relationship with God. So I did get mad at myself because I said I should have paid attention to the signs, and I should have cut things off instead of letting them linger. So that's the part where I got mad at myself. Forgiving him, I feel that sometimes people do things and it's about you if you accept it. So forgiveness means for me to separate from that because it became unsafe. So that's how I was able to forgive him. And then our son that we have together is also a motivation for me as to what example am I setting for my son.
A question that I have for you, Majida, is while you were in the process of, going through, I guess, this physical or mental abuse via your husband, did you have someone to reach out to? Did you feel comfortable enough to reach out to someone? And if you didn't, why?
Okay, so I have a very good support system.
Okay.
But I felt that my support system was biased. So I grew up with abuse in my household with my parents. And so I always had that attitude, I will never accept that, this will never be me. So of course I turned to my family, but I realized later on that was not a good idea, because if you forgive the person that's causing the problem, they may not forgive. So now you're causing them to look bad at your spouse. So I really feel that the less people that you have involved with your relationship is the better. Going forward, if I was to be in a relationship and have issues in that, I would go to more spiritual counsel instead of family. So I would keep my family out of it. And if I have friends that are married and have successful marriages, I would talk to them, because they could tell you more about the goods and the bads and why they and how they work things out.
I agree.
How long were you in the marriage before you divorced?
5 years.
5 years. And how long did it take you to leave the marriage? And what type of plan of action, when did a light bulb come on in your head to say, I need to leave this marriage?
Okay.
And then what type of plan of action did you set up?
Okay, so I was married for 5 years on paper.
Okay.
The first incident happened in the 3-year mark.
Okay.
Okay.
And he went to jail, of course. We did counseling. We separated, but then we did counseling. I think counseling is a very good idea, but I don't think it helped us because he was not receptive. So if a person is not going to admit their faults, then the counseling was pointless.
Okay.
But I do feel that I learned a lot of information. It gave me perspectives from how I was doing things, how he was doing things, and then things that I did not want to happen. So I feel that counseling can help your marriage if you remarry. So it helped me, and it helped me to learn about how to do things in a future relationship.
Yes.
For me, the plan at the time when the first incident happened was just to get out of it.
Okay.
But at the time, my son was so young, I did want to see if my marriage was able to be saved. That's why I went the counseling route. And then when I saw that there was no change, that's when I decided to file. But I was in Fort Lauderdale at the time. So we separated. We were going about our business, and we did the counseling and the mediation like the court suggests. Nothing happened. Then he moved to another state and asked me to move with him. So that's when we reconciled. And then I ended up having to refile again in Ohio. So that's when the second incident happened. So I separated both times, but I went back because of the counseling.
So during your marriage, though, you were working and you had the means to leave?
Yes.
When it was necessary? Okay.
So the second time the incident happened, I was in Ohio. I was by myself. I decided to go to a homeless shelter, and from there, they set you up with a caseworker, and they help you with your plan as far as what you want to do. So I was working, and I was in school and all that stuff. I went to the shelter. I saved. I got my apartment. I never looked back from there, and then I started the divorce process again in that state.
Okay. And
'Cause
then
I had
that's
to
where it was finalized?
Yeah, so
there.
I closed
Okay.
it here, then I had to reopen it there,
Yeah.
and then I finalized it there. So at that point, I felt like this was the second incident. This is no longer a mistake. This is your behavior. And I
Okay.
didn't like that behavior, and that's not the way I saw marriage. That's not the type of marriage I wanted, so that's why I left.
Was there anything specific that triggered the altercation to happen?
So the first altercation that happened, it was about me not wanting to be intimate with him. As y'all know, as women, we're emotional. So if you want sex, you need to be nice to me all day.
All day touching me.
So my ex was the type of person that if you had an argument, he would isolate himself from you. But when he wanted to be intimate, then he would be nice to you. And so I had an attitude because you weren't talking to me for a couple days anyway, but now you want to be nice. So that was the first argument because he wanted to be intimate and I told him no. I was obviously upset about the argument and I didn't feel that that was the way to approach it by having intercourse.
Yeah.
I can't get into something like that with you if I'm still hurt about something that you
Of
said to me.
course,
So
of course.
that was the first incident. The second incident was him saying that my phone called him accidentally. I didn't know the call was going in my pocket at work, and he said that he heard me talking to another male. When he played it back for me, because it went on his voicemail, all you heard was muffling and movement because the phone was in my pocket.
So he interpreted
So
that
he said I was
muffling.
talking to another man, and
Yeah.
that caused him to be in a jealous rage. When he asked me about it, I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I still feel like it's unacceptable because no one deserves to be abused.
Yeah.
At all.
all.
Are you guys friends now?
No.
How is co-parenting?
So when we first did our divorce, they did the shared parenting plan. His idea was he wanted to get out of child support, so he wanted to say, You keep him 3 days, I keep him 4, and then we flip-flop.
Okay.
After the judge saw that his plan didn't really make sense, she granted it at first. And then she said, well, I don't think he's going to comply with it, but we'll see what happens. And if he doesn't, then you come back and we'll change it. So, of course, he disappeared after that, and he never complied with the plan. So I went back to the court and asked them to terminate it, and they did.
Okay.
So I ended up doing the whole sole custody. But then he came back a year later and asked to see his son. So I met him in a public place, and that's how we did it. We talked on the phone. He said he wanted to see him. We talked, met up, and that's how we did it.
Okay.
So going forward, I did not like the inconsistency. So I just told him, like, if you want to see him, it's your responsibility. Of course, he was trying to get more back with me than being concerned about his son. So we never, it was like that. So now, today, he does call, but he's not a consistent parent. So he'll call every couple of months. He'll call around his birthday. He'll call around Christmas. That's usually 3 times a year. That's not a parent to me.
Yes.
So I'm doing it by myself. But I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I always tell people, no matter what the other parent does, your responsibility as a mom or dad is still 100. You don't need to fluctuate because of the lack of whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is
yes,
true.
That's
So
true.
I've been blessed to have people around me that support me, support my son, and I work and I do everything that I need to do for him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I have so
awesome.
many more questions, but I know all the questions I have
Yeah,
are in this
it's
book.
in-
So make sure you guys go purchase her book. God's Gonna Make It Good. The question tonight is, what does it mean to feed your mental? With your background and knowledge, what advice can you give someone who is struggling with feeding themselves positivity in order to overcome verbal and physical abuse?
Okay, so to address the question of the day, my advice will be to feeding yourself positivity. I believe in affirmations. Being that I have a spiritual background and that's what my master's is in counseling, I believe in talking to yourself, being your biggest supporter. So for me, I like flashcards, so I usually put an affirmation on flashcards. I hang them in different parts of my house. I keep some in my bag. I believe in reading your word and applying it to your life. For me, that's what has helped me when I was in an abusive marriage and I had someone always belittling and talking down to me. I would say what the Word of God says because that was powerful for me and that's what helped me to build up my self-esteem. So no matter what was said to me, I kept that in my mind about what God says about me.
That's a good thing to do. For me, my perspective is a little different because I also look at it not only from other people verbally or physically abusing you. Sometimes you can do that to yourself.
Right.
And I will admit, I had a big problem. And to this day, I do have a big problem where I beat up on myself. And I can give one example. Last season we were filming the show. You know how we were so busy. And like you see, we're here today. We did like 3 shows in one day, and then we had meetings during the week. And I used to say, I'm such a bad mom. I'm a bad mom. And I used to beat myself up all the time saying I'm a bad mom. And I felt like, because, I want my son to always be priority. And then when I feel like something is taken
away.
So I started beating up myself. And I would be on the phone with, my friend. And then he was like, why are you always beating up on yourself? So I realized that I abused myself, And so what I had to do was say, okay, I do allow myself to feel the emotion. So like, I'm feeling this way for a reason. So I probably allow myself to feel that way for that day or whatever. But after that, I find a solution, how I'm going to work out the situation. And then after that, that's what I focus on. So even if you're a person who you're hard on yourself and you beat yourself up, address it, recognize it, address it, and then find a solution going forward. That would be my advice.
Okay. Well, we all know that we are our worst critics. So people on the outside looking in may sometimes see a lot more than what we see in ourselves. So I can definitely attest to what you're saying, Lachey, because I've done that myself. I think it is you have to make it a priority as far as when you're feeding your mental to go away from the noise.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
explained to you
Yes.
ladies before how I actually met my husband, and if I didn't move up to Sebring at the time, we probably wouldn't be together because down here in South Florida, it's always so busy. It's always something to do. I can wake up 1 o'clock in the morning and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to the bar, I'm going to a lounge, so on and so forth. So it's so important to get away from the noise. So when I'm driving, I actually drive with no music on.
Really?
Nothing. I mean, absolutely
Yeah, me
nothing.
too.
My husband think I'm crazy because sometimes I'll find myself doing that with the kids, and he'll be in the car and he's talking to me, and he doesn't know at that time like I'm driving, but my mind is completely somewhere else. Like I'm meditating, I'm gathering my thoughts. So it is so important to be able to do that. That little bit of time, that little bit of peace, that little bit of quietness is so necessary in your life because it's always so busy. I also do yoga. I love doing yoga. On Saturday mornings, I wake up early in the morning, and it's just like I said, it's a sense of peace that's
Yeah.
needed in your life with the world being so busy. You have to get away because so many things, the music we listen to, the television shows that we watch, the people sometimes that we interact with on an
Yeah.
everyday
Yes.
basis, they deposit so much of I'm not going to say negative spirits, but they deposit so much inside of us, and we have to know how to filter those things. So
Yeah.
being at peace with yourself is so necessary to do that. I've actually been working. One of my 2020 goals, which was to get my spiritual life on another level. Like I pray and everything, but I'm starting to incorporate fasting more on like a monthly
Yeah.
basis, and
Right.
because I want to be in tune. I want to be in tune with my inner and not my outer. Does that make
Yeah,
sense,
yes.
ladies?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it's on Second Timothy. The word says, "Even at peace." I'm paraphrasing. Even in a time of peace, you have to be ready for war. So how can I
Yes.
always be? I'm busy in my mind all the time, and then when something actually comes, it's like I don't know. But if I'm
Right.
already ready all the time, I'm at peace with myself. I've gotten myself prepped for when the war does come. I'll always be ready.
Right. Yeah. As for me, definitely what you ladies said, being away, getting away, and stop beating up on yourself. Because what I found during like the healing process and trying to think positive, I felt like the enemy would creep in, even in that quiet place. So you do have to have the word to tear down those negative thoughts that will come when they do come, because I started to feel like, okay, this happened, I forgive the person, but why did I allow it to happen? But then that's also necessary too, because it's always coming from somewhere. You have to get to the root of the issue, because sometimes it's so easy to blame somebody else for their actions, but what you allow into your life, that's
Right.
up to you. So it's like, okay, I had to deal with the fact that, okay, why didn't I leave? So then that started like the whole healing process, and thinking positive. And I don't think talking to somebody is very important, but they have to believe in what you believe in. And I like individual counseling, because I know you mentioned you did counseling with your ex-husband. Did you guys do individual?
Yes.
Okay. So I started speaking to someone, a psychologist, and a Christian psychologist at that. And I felt like she broke that. She made me realize a lot of things, and she brought clarity, like where I couldn't piece things together. Like, okay, well, I felt like this, and then she just would say, no, okay, help me put the puzzles together.
Yes.
Where I was uncertain. Yeah. I don't.
You know, one of the things that you said is it's so it's so easy to, when you're going through certain situations, whether it be mental, you're going through certain situations, it's easy to blame someone else, but truly finding the root of what exactly is the problem
Right.
is necessary. Now, I'm going to go back to you, Majida. Mind you, Majida, where's your name from? Your name is so beautiful.
It's a Muslim name. It's Arabic.
It's Arabic?
Yes.
Okay. Is your family Muslim?
I got it as a gift from my godfather, who's
Okay,
Muslim.
okay. Beautiful,
So,
beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
but my background is from Jamaica.
It's from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, through this process of you, I know you explained earlier regarding your husband and the situation that you guys went through. Now, and you just stated that you did individual counseling. What can you say, not because you played a role in it, because I don't want that to get construed. What can you say, what did you see in yourself that allowed, or because you were with him for 5 years, you said the first incident happened 3 years, you kind of stayed, to make it work. Reflecting back on the situation, what could you have done differently? What do you see that you could have done differently?
With the signs or?
Correct, with the
Okay.
signs and.
Um,
Let me-
well, the first reason is being patient and waiting on the right person. Um, I believe that the reason why I got into that relationship was because I was frustrated. So I was at a point in my life where I was tired of what I was seeing locally around me. And so I thought it was a good idea to branch out and do something new. And that was meeting someone online and also from another country. So I felt like when you're in a long distance relationship, you don't get to see everything, because when you go visit them or they come visit you, of course you're going to have a good time because your time is short.
They put on their best show.
Right. So when you get married and you start living with someone, that's when the layers start coming back, and that's when you start seeing things that you didn't see before. So I think that that was the first bad choice, was choosing wrong because of out of frustration.
Can I say something? Can I cut
Yes.
you off a little bit? You know, coming from a spiritual aspect, they always tell you that you have to wait, wait to, wait in order to have sex, of course, before marriage, right? I'm sorry, wait to have sex after marriage.
Okay.
And you have to wait in order before you live with someone, you have to be married.
Right.
But these things, you bring up a point. You truly never know someone until you stay with them. So isn't that kind of contrary? Like, it's contradicting. Like, I'm not really going to know this person. I'm not going to know their bad habits, because when we're together, they're going to put their best foot forward.
Right. A lot of people do that, and that's where we get caught up too, because we are more focused on their outward and what they're showing you and what they're saying, and we're not going with their actions.
Yeah.
So that was my downfall, was because most of our communication was through the phone. And so you're hearing, because women, we hear a lot, and we go with that, and we hold that person to that standard and expect that that's going to happen in the future. And when it doesn't happen, that's when you're deceived. So that's what I think was my downfall. Now, as far as being contradictory, the Word of God cannot contradict itself. The Word is true. You just have to believe it. You just have to apply it. So even though you will never really get to know a person 100%, because even if you're dating them for years, you still get married and you live with them, there's going to be things that you did not
honey,
see
I know.
in the years that you spent with them. So I think we have to more trust what God says, even if it might seem silly to us and we might think that it's contradictory, it's really not. He has a reason for why he's telling us to avoid doing those things. So the Word of God cannot contradict itself. It has to fulfill what it said.
Very well said. Very well
I feel
said.
like asking questions. Ask the person questions about their home, how they were living, and what I've noticed coming from an abusive relationship, there were always signs. The way the person talked to you, little things, or even when you're out, like little things that they would do. So there's always signs, and if you're in tune with yourself and spiritually and God, He's always going to reveal it to you.
Right.
And then you could go from there because you have free will. So it's either you want to settle, because what God has for you is always going to be better than what you gonna willing to accept. Always.
So are you ladies saying that, okay, the signs are always there. Do we choose not to see the signs because we're in love?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes we're blinded.
Or we feel like
It makes me think about the dream that
Yeah.
I was talking to you about earlier.
And
Very
in
good.
Jamaica, they say, seeing me and living with me is two different things. So a lot of times when you're dating people and they have that facade up, you're going to believe everything that they tell you. You're going to give them the clean slate and they're going to start from fresh. But when you live with them, you start seeing things that you didn't see. So for me, I say the signs was always there. It's just I always felt like, oh, okay, well, maybe that was a small thing. But then small things add to big things. And then it could be too late. So then I said in my book, what you allow will continue.
Yeah.
So you have to hold yourself accountable for the things that you're putting up with or what you're tolerating. And I think it all depends on self-love, and this worth that you place on yourself is what you'll have less tolerance to deal with other bad people giving you treatment that you don't want.
Do you recognize any lasting effects of being in that type of relationship?
Yes and no. Now going forward in dating, I more pay attention to the person's actions and not just their words. Because before, that's what it was for me, just the words. So now if you tell me something and I see that you don't do it, I point it out. So I let them know, I heard what you said, and now I'm looking for the actions to happen. And if you're not going to do that, then that's where we need to have a conversation.
Right.
And I don't like to waste time. So now that I'm in the dating scene,
Yeah.
again, I don't like to waste time with people that I don't feel are right. So I might date a nice person, but nice might not be right for me.
Hello.
That's the truth.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Now, as women, we have our lists. So I call that list my prototype. And
Okay.
that's what I'm looking for, those type of features I'm looking for in a man. But the things that he lacks or I don't see, I take that to God, because I always say what I want may not be the plan of what God wants.
Okay.
So if there's things on my list that I'm looking for in a man, and I want him to be a Christian man this time, I say to God, show me the sign that he's not the one. And usually God does that, because when I was dating, right after I got divorced, I told God I didn't want to waste any more time. So if the person was not right for me, show me the sign that I could end it. So you can't ask God for a sign and then he shows you the sign, and then you
You
still
still want to linger along like, hold on, God, show me
when
one
God
more.
shows me, now I cut it off. When I was with my ex-husband, I let him do things before we got married, and I kept giving him chances. Now I'm not so nice to give all the chances,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's deal breakers. So why are you giving
Yeah.
chances for deal breakers? That doesn't make sense. And not that a relationship is going to be perfect.
Right.
It's not.
It's not going to be perfect. I'm not saying that the person has to be everything on my list, because everything on the list is not what God wants for you anyway. And some of the
Hello.
things are superficial. And if you're not on the list for yourself, because you have to put yourself on the list too. So you can't, as a woman, be expecting a man to do all this, but you don't measure up either. So in the healing process, you're supposed to be healing, getting yourself together. So when the man finds you, you are already a wife. You don't start being a wife after you say I do.
Come on
You're
now.
supposed to be working on you. So while I'm asking God for what I'm asking for, I'm asking him to reveal the things to me that I need to change and I need to get rid of, because it might not be good for the wife that he wants me to be.
That's hard work.
Yes.
And I say that because I always watch Ayanla Van Zandt.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I
And
love
she
her.
always says, and it always sticks with me, you have to do the work.
Yes.
And that sticks with me because, like you said, a lot of this stuff you're seeing, when you actually get down to doing it, when you actually sit down and make your list, and you actually sit down and say, what am I bringing to the table, and what do I need to heal with it, that hurts.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you could be sitting there crying, and you know what I'm saying? It's hard work. And a lot of people, when they get to that point, that's when they give up. That's when they run away. But if you continue to move forward and get through that healing process, then you come out to be a better person, and you can attract better people.
Right, that's true.
Well, I just added one thing to my list, and I pray God answers it. I want him to be fine. Like, fine. My type has changed. My type has changed. And I never put how someone looks on my list, because that never really mattered to me. But now it does. And one thing I did notice... One thing I did notice about me when I asked you about the lasting effects, because what I've noticed is with the person I was with, I would always have to dumb myself down.
Oh,
and I find myself doing that. Like, when I'm by myself, I feel like, oh, I do this, I do that. Or when I meet people who don't know me, who are not familiar with me, I am more myself. Like, because I like to read a lot of books, like weird things. And I find myself engaging in conversation with people who don't know me better than people probably who knew me for a very long time. I don't know. I think it's because I was so used to being that way.
Okay.
So when I get in a familiar situation, I just like kind of like, okay, go with the flow, or like not be myself all the way, like who I've grown to be.
Okay.
Yeah, who I've grown to be. Yes.
Well, that's interesting that you said that you feel you have to dumb yourself down.
Yeah, and I
So
always talk about not doing that.
that means that you have a certain standard, but if you meet somebody that does not have the standard of what you're
Oh, remember
saying,
I said the new
you
people
go
I
down.
meet. No. The new people that's not familiar with me, I like.
You bring them.
Yeah, I'm more my. I guess I bring out that new person or introduce
The woman that woman that
the
you've
new
grown
things
to
that
be.
I like
Okay.
the new things that I'm interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the ways that you'll know, like, that this person is for you, you wouldn't feel like you have to dumb yourself
Oh,
down.
not with men. That I think I got that on lock.
Because with all
I told God-
relationships, you, like she said, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
So a relationship is going to be like a house. You got to both put in order
Gotta
to
lay
build
the
that
foundation
house.
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
So everything that God already deposited in you and deposited in him, y'all supposed to be putting that together to make that house.
Yes.
And if you don't put in, that's when the house is going to fall apart. If you put in, that's when it's going to be successful.
Right.
So that's the person's going to compliment you. You're going to compliment. So wherever they lack, you're going to pick that up for them.
Right.
That's where he gives them the balance of you. That's where the favor comes in.
Yes.
And then whatever you lack, that's the favor that's on him. That balances you out, so that you don't have to feel like you can't be yourself.
Yes.
They're supposed to embrace who you are, and you're supposed to embrace who they are. That's where you got to compromise.
Honestly, we can go on and on about this topic. No, I'm serious. But we all can pretty much say that, feeding your mental positivity is important. All right, sippers. So this past Tuesday, an Indiana woman by the name of Jane Wofield was shot and killed after exposing two closeted gay men via Facebook. Take a look at the video she live streamed.
I had to run in there and still take my phone and run out. They chased me out the house. Hold on. Pants hanging and everything. Hold on. Screaming Hallville. I said, fuck Hallville. I don't give a fuck. You niggas better give me some money. I'm fucking telling everybody. You niggas got some money? We Hallville. Ain't nobody. Fuck Hallville. Hallville gonna have to pay. Because if not, it's a story to be told. Oh, y'all don't want to pay? Bitch, I'll let you give me some head and you out here fucking niggas in their ass? Oh, no. Today, I've been traumatized. You niggas out here traumatizing bitches. I snatched my phone. They was standing there just staring at me. So, them motherfuckers looking like the devil. They was looking like they was really trying to kill me. So I just grabbed my phone. I was like, so anything happened to me? Y'all know they try to kill me today. Them niggas. And then when I got in the car, I started talking shit. If anybody knows me, that's how I get there. As soon as I get to the car, when I get close to my pistol, I'm really talking shit now. So I say, if you don't cash at me in the next hour, I'm telling the whole goddamn city what the fuck's going on. I told them just cash at me 5 bands. That's all. Shit, you in a $50,000 truck, I can't get 5 bands. They're nasty, and they're just out here to get bitches. Because these niggas are playing like they this and that, and got the keys to the city and all this and that, and they under the sheets and the covers.
So the coroner's office has not yet released Wolfield's cause of death because it is unclear whether she died as a result from the shooting or actually the car crash. Ladies, we all love a good tea, right? But given these circumstances, do you think she should have kept this information to herself? Ooh, this situation, ladies. This situation is so sad. It's so sad on so many different levels because someone actually lost their life. There's no one that I know personally who doesn't enjoy a update of the latest tea being spilled, right?
Right.
But it goes back, social media has made people feel comfortable on showcasing things that, honestly, is it really that serious? Sometimes we have to know that no matter how hot the tea may be, maybe it's the tea is made just for probably you or your girlfriend, or probably for you to know. No, I'm serious, because we all enjoy a good tea, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I think that it's not necessary to do. I'm not going to say that she caused her own death because well, let me not say that because I do think she caused her own death, but there's certain things that you just shouldn't do. There's certain people you just shouldn't play with. There's certain things that you just shouldn't open your mouth on. And I think that people have gotten it construed because they go on social media thinking social media is going to save them, and it's not. Prime example, look at what happened.
I was shocked when I heard about this story, and it was just like, I was like, wow. The first thing came to my mind was wow. Um, I don't think she should have shared that information the way she shared that
Of course.
information, because she was very graphic with it. She gave a lot of details.
She
gave
looked like she was
names.
enjoying it, too.
Yeah, she gave a lot of details, names, and then putting people's picture and tagging them. I think that was very excessive. I think it would have been okay if she said to her girlfriend or a sister or something, hey, this happened to me, But going on social media, I think that's bad. Rest in peace to her and her family. But that's a terrible way to pass. So I do think that we should be wise in the way we are spreading information. Even if it's true, you still don't have to tell everything.
It's an unfortunate situation. I feel bad that she lost her life. And what I didn't appreciate yet, I feel like that's a touchy subject because, down low brothers, you want to put them out because they're probably messing with other females and then they're doing this closeted thing and you want to expose it. So, but I feel like the way she did it, you're extorting them for one. That was wrong. Like, what do you mean you want $5,000? You're putting your life at jeopardy. And she knew that because in the video she did say, if something happens to me,
Right.
it's them. Was it really worth your life? And I feel like it was a little too messy because she started saying names. She even put their pictures up, tagged them. So, yeah, I hope she didn't have any kids because that would have been like, okay, you have kids to think about in this situation. And she mentioned them being cousins, which I don't think they were real cousins. That's probably was the whole cover up and saying like, oh, this is my cousin. So you don't think like, oh, these guys are always together or
Right.
even with their girlfriends, like, oh, that's his cousin. That's who he's with. Because then you probably get a little fishy, like, why are you always with your homeboy, Oh, this is my cousin. I knew him from way back. We grew up together. So it makes it.
The story believable.
Yeah, very believable.
As far as the cousin thing, I was thinking, when I listened, I was thinking maybe they are real cousins and maybe they were doing that since they were little. Because cousins be touching on each other and doing all that stuff. And they probably just kept that between them two. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking. But as far as her, I feel like she should have kept that to herself because she knew who she was playing with. Because in the video she said that, first of all, she said that they were real gangsters.
Real goons.
And she said that they were in some kind of gang or something. And also that if something happened to me, they did it. And also they wanted to kill her. So if you really truly believe these men wanted to kill you
From the beginning.
you had to run out because you felt they were going to kill you.
Right.
But then you go to Facebook Live and blast all of their information on Facebook Live, and then you extort them for money.
Yeah.
I feel like she wasn't thinking. And I feel like it's a senseless death again because people not understanding that they're engaging in this stupid stuff. Like, this is dumb. This is something dumb to die over because you opened your mouth on Facebook. Like, and I could tell that she just has this petty spirit, like it's just like a toxic spirit because just to even be so happy about going on Facebook, oh, I got this, I'm finna tell. You know what I'm saying? That's how I sense. Like, she was so excited to tell all the people business, and then I just feel like it's very unfortunate, that she wasn't wise enough to zip her lips.
One of the comments that I saw on this video, it stated that, if social media isn't bad enough, one of the worst things they could have created was the live button. And it's so true because I don't know if you ladies have noticed, but so many things happen throughout the world, and it's like things go on, and people before they go on to help individuals, like there was a shooting, I think it was the end of the year of 2019. There was a shooting, and I'm sorry, it was a shooting or a run out in a club or something. Somebody is laid out in the club, and this person is dying. And instead of anybody sitting there helping this person, like they're bleeding out, maybe trying to, compress the wound or something, they take out their phone and they're recording it. Like, what are we doing here? Like, and this individual ended up losing their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on now. People are so quick to, I don't know if they're clout chasing or they trying to find some sort of being validated on social media. Girl, you came with this tea. You the first person that
Yeah.
know
I
this tea.
think they just
Like, it's just,
nosy people.
I think the validation, because you want to be the first one.
but
to
this
show-
even when you were
yeah,
saying,
valid-
But it's
Validation,
so
and you want
sensitive,
your-
like,
your
people are
video.
so insensitive that they don't even care about a dead body, but they rather
Right.
videotape.
Yeah,
video-
because they
That's
want their
very
video
sad.
to go viral.
Yeah.
That's very
But
sad.
also
Sad.
there's I feel like a nosiness aspect to it as well, because
Mm-hmm.
if we think about before social media, you had people who would sit on their porch
Mm-hmm.
and know about everybody in the neighborhood. So
Right.
this isn't new, but it's just because now
they're able to showcase it.
they're showcasing
The
it when
technology
before.
has made it easier to expose now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even let's think about this. Let's say this scenario happened and there was no social media. You think she just gonna sit there with that news? She's still finna be all over the neighborhood spreading the
still would-
people's
I'm
business.
not gonna lie, you guys.
I believe
If
she
you-
was more angry because she said she had relationship with him.
Yeah.
And to know that it just shocked her that way, and that was her way of exposing him. So I feel like she was more trying to get back at him.
You think
But
so?
it was just so,
It was
she
petty.
even, it was petty and it was so long ago because she said
Right.
it was a long time ago. If he supposedly all he did was give you oral sex,
Yeah.
sis, you want to tell people that?
You really,
But
yeah.
I think my deal with this is that I think she saw this as an opportunity to come up to get her money.
That's what it is.
And when it didn't work out that way,
She was mad.
she was mad
was
because
mad.
she didn't get the money.
But what if they were gonna kill her anyway? And if she would have never spoke about it, no one would ever know who the suspects were. Because
That's true, too.
Because she said they were real. These are real
Real goons.
gangsters, real goons.
Yep.
So it's just like they probably would have ended up killing her anyway. Because they were like, "Come back, come back. Why are you telling me to come back?" They want to silence her
I
because
feel like they would have killed her too.
yeah, because
Right.
even if she didn't go on live, I know she would have told her homegirls, and
Somebody.
and that's how news travels. You tell one person, and that's hot news. Somebody's in the closet, two gangsters that's
Yeah.
well known, because obviously she said she was doing business with them,
And
so
she-
they're
that
well
would've
known in
messed up their
Harville,
business.
whatever the community is
Yeah.
called. Listen, they would have killed her already.
I think
And that
so,
probably
too.
was a way for her to discredit their character because
Yes.
a lot of times people put on a facade as to who they are, and she was trying to let you know, well, they're not really that gangster because of this lifestyle, because that does taint your image if somebody's coming out and saying you're doing an act like what she saw. So that could have been the reason why.
But I feel like also people need to not go with that narrative that if a man is gay, he's not as gangster. as a man
Mhm,
who-
come
I
on
think
now.
closeted. I don't think it's
She
gay
was-
because
it was
I'm
just
just saying
closeted.
Regardless.
Yeah.
That you're-
because people. Why
He's still
I'm
a man.
saying that is because a gay man can be as dangerous
Yes,
as a straight
sure.
man. So you
Right.
can't be like, oh, because he having sex with another man, he not hard, he not this. No, because people, I was hearing in the video, those closeted, down low gay men
Are more
are
dangerous.
more dangerous than a straight man because their reputation is on the line. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So for her to, I feel like people shouldn't believe that. Like she was believing that narrative herself for her to mention that, oh, he ain't as gangster as he, you know what I'm saying? And look what happened. He showed you his gangster.
It's more like about honesty too, because people probably figure, well, if you're gay, why not just tell? Why be in the closet and hiding it? So I think that's where, not that they can't be more dangerous, but she probably figured you're not credible.
Yes, you're
as
not credible.
in the public eye because you're trying to say you're a goon, but then you're doing this act hiding it.
But this is the thing, though. Okay, let's just say that is the truth. Why does it matter? Honestly, if it
She
was
probably
me,
just was upset because she had relationships.
obviously
Yeah.
he's having relations
and
with
now
other
she's
women.
finding that he's doing that playing the
it
field.
seemed like she wanted to warn the other women.
people,
It was also
right.
kind of like a warning to the other women because she kept saying, they out here, what she was saying, what she
Getting
was,
fudge from another
Yeah,
No.
they under the covers and under the sheets in the
Yeah.
bed or something like that.
I think she said like they tormenting, or she was saying that she's traumatized by seeing that,
Right.
and she was like, these men out here traumatizing women.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
No.
So
I
she
just
was
think-
warning them.
I
feel
think
like
it was
think she
more.
was
You
warning.
think she was? I don't
I
think it was
she
more
warning,
warning.
but I think she was upset
Being
Upset
mad,
too.
yeah, because of the
Listen,
money.
because
I
of
think
the money and because of the fact that she had relationship with that person. It probably would have been different if she had no.
I really
relationship
don't
with him.
think that she cared about
Yeah,
that
me
relationship.
too.
What I think is she was trying to be messy, and she thought she was gonna get money from these men. And when they
Right.
turned the script and it was like, "What you talking
not
about? We
giving
ain't
you
giving you no
nothing."
money." Then it's like, okay, let me go ahead and be messy on social media, and here it is.
So I have a question for you, Johnny. So
You
if
always these questions.
if you walked into a room and you saw a close friend, or not even a close friend, just two familiar men who you know were both straight, probably married or in a relationship with a woman, having sex, and you walk in the room, when you turn around and leave that room, would you zip your lips or would you let somebody know?
Can I answer first?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this honestly. Right when I would have walked in, I would have said, I would have looked at them. I would have been, listen, it's y'all business. You ain't got to worry about me ever opening my mouth. And I'm not, because especially after seeing this situation, there's certain things and there's certain topics that are really touchy. That's not my position and that's not my place to open my mouth to let these people know. Now, can we rewind it back if it was a family member? Maybe if that was my brother-in-law,
That's what
would
I'm
I let
thinking.
my sister know? Yes, I would let my sister know. Hey, listen. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't let her know. I'd say, listen, what y'all doing is your business, but you have a right to tell my sister what's going on. If you don't tell her by X amount of day, I'm gonna be forced. to
That's
let
gonna
her
give
know.
him X amount of days to kill you.
Exactly.
I'm probably gonna do a recording and put it in somewhere.
I agree with you. I feel like it's not your business unless you know someone who they're connected to. So if it's a friend or a family member, of course I would not want them to be deceived. So I would say to them, y'all need to have a talk with who needs to know. And if the person does not, then I feel like it would be my responsibility to let them know because I witnessed it. But it wouldn't be something that I would go live with.
Okay.
It would be a one-on-one. So if you my friend and I saw your man doing that, I'm going to come to you one-on-one. However, you choose to handle that information that I give you is between you and him.
Child, it depends. What I will be so shocked. I would not come. Like I don't know. I don't. It depends what friend, because I'm not just gonna tell any friend that, because they probably need. Because when you come, it's like telling somebody they man cheating. You need evidence. That's a big allegation.
Honey,
So
I don't
if
need
you're-
evidence.
I don't
You
need
tell
evidence.
that right there?
Whatever I saw,
That-
that's the evidence.
That is a big lie to just come up with that.
And then, of course, if somebody knows your character, I'm not a liar, so they're gonna believe me. That's true. I'll be scared to tell it, and I won't even be. And first of all,
so you gonna be dead and nobody gonna know why.
Ooh, Jesus. I probably would be stuck at the door because I get like inside. I'm gonna be shaking.
Like you,
Like, I don't.
you just.
I hope that never happens to me because I don't know how I would react. I would close the door fast. Like, they probably run after me. They probably gonna kill me.
Because in that moment of you walking in, they know whatever their life is over now. So where they married, the
Yes.
marriage is over, the relationship. That's what they're feeling in that moment. And so for me, if I walked in and I saw it, I would have to let the person know. You know?
The significant other.
If I'm
If
close,
you know them.
if I
If you
know
knew them.
If I don't know them, that's y'all business.
Oh, yeah,
Whatever.
that's true.
I don't feel like it's my responsibility to be exposing people.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody close to me, I have to let them know.
Right.
So I feel like even though we all, in a way, said we would let the person know. See?
Mm-hmm.
So
Y'all gonna die.
so I
Child.
feel like, given the situation, I feel like that's how she felt, that I need to let these women know.
It's just the way she
However,
did it.
the way
Yeah,
she did it
not
was
right, yeah.
wrong. So each one of us just said we would let someone
I
know,
would
but
let-
we won't go live on Facebook.
I think
Never.
I would let the person know if it was a relative, if it was a close friend. And I would just tell that person. I would have never gone. Like I said, my interpretation of that video, sis was just messy. She
Yeah.
was
Was.
being very
She was
messy.
very-
And I wouldn't. She was trying to extort these men. Not that I'm saying what she did was not that I'm validating what these men did to her was right, but I'm just saying you extorting these people. You trying to
Yeah.
come up on these people. Hey, listen, I noticed about you. If you don't give me $5,000, cash at me $5,000. They about to cancel Cash App right now.
Right.
Cash at me $5,000. I'm a tell. That's crazy. That is not
She-
your
she
place.
took it too far.
She took it way too far.
And it's alleged that they killed her.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
alleged.
They're still
Wait.
investigating.
Come to my house trying to keep-
Anyways,
Right?
and then like you said, people
Another life
come
lost
up.
for something so simple.
so minute.
Another life lost. A rapper Pop Smoke was gunned down in a rental community, well, a rental house that he was renting from one of the housewives, I believe from Beverly Hills. That's a unfortunate situation because he comes from Brooklyn, New York,
New York.
in the hood. You go to Beverly Hills, your career is just taking off. Like people are starting to know you all over the world. You're touring. You're 20 years old, and for someone to come into your where you're living to shoot you, and they said it was a home invasion, but that person stole nothing, so it was a hit on his life, and he dies at 20 years old, and no one else got shot. So that was a direct hit to him.
Correct.
It's sad because what they're saying is I think it's like the best friend.
No,
They're-
that's
no.
his okay.
I'm just saying this is what it's alleged.
It's alleged.
Alleged. Per the blog, they're saying it's his best friend, and I'm sad for his best friend because here you are.
It's his brother.
Brother? Oh, here you are. Well, who could be possibly best friend, right? They got a
Yeah,
good
they're
re-
very
yeah,
close,
very
yeah.
close. Okay, so here you are. You have this relationship, and you lose someone, and in the time of mourning, you're trying to
Now
mourn.
you're being accused.
Now you're being accused. Like I could just imagine what he's going through. It's a very sad situation. I didn't really know Pop Smoke like that.
You
didn't
probably
know
heard his
either.
song.
I heard a
What's
few
his
songs,
song?
but I didn't think he was that popular.
Nicki Minaj, that's how I knew him, is because Nicki Minaj did a remix of his song.
How did it go?
Tell me, because I don't know who this
I
person
would have to
is.
play it for you guys.
Okay.
And you'll probably hear like, oh, she ripped that song. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
he kind of reminds me of 50 Cent.
For real?
And you know, I love 50 Cent.
I love 50 Cent too.
I don't know.
You don't
Who
know?
he is.
But this
But
is
it's
nothing new
funny.
though, because a lot of times when people do die, the first people that they think of is the people that's
yeah.
close,
Close,
to you.
yeah.
And being that I have a criminal background, it's just like crazy. You know, I work in a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always the first people that your family members, your friends, your peers.
Yeah.
It's always those people that they look at first. Once they eliminate those people, then they start going outside based on tips that they receive. So even though the brother and is going to be accused, once he's cleared, then they're going to move on to somebody
Right.
else. But that's usually how it is. It's going to be who knew you were there. Who was the last person you spoke to? Who was the last person you seen? Those are the things that they're going to look at. So that's probably why they're looking at the brother. And
The
best
cops
friend.
weren't looking at the brother. The people on social media,
Those detectives.
they were making their own claims because around the same time, his last tweet. But people have to realize time difference. He was in California, so if you're on the East Coast, that's a
Time is
3-hour
different. Yeah.
3-hour difference. So they're looking at his post. Oh, he posted right after, or he changed his status. But y'all forgetting the main key. He's in a different time zone. What you thinking is 4 a.m. around the time that Pop Smoke was shot at like 4:30 a.m. They're thinking he changed his status at that time. No, it's 4:30 your time,
Right.
not their time. So these fake investigators on Instagram, they need to stop because it's somebody's real life.
You know, I never understood why these situations happen because if I'm okay, let me give you ladies an example. If we're all friends, and boom, I happen to soar off in my career, or I'm this rapper, or I'm
Yeah.
this actress, and I just land on millions. If we're friends, you really think that I would leave you behind? You really think that I would
But
leave you
that's a
like?
different lifestyle.
But even, okay,
But a lot of
rapping.
people
I don't
just get
know,
envious
no.
over someone's success.
But
and
you're
they
my
don't-
friend.
But they
People
don't
were,
want but
so
people
do
are
you think
envious.
people were envious of his success, or he was a part of some type? Because like I said, I don't know him, so I can't say what his lifestyle was. I'm just going by some of the things I've read.
Yeah.
Comments like maybe he was associated with a gang or something like that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, how can that be compared to I'm jealous of my girlfriend because she got a promotion? That's like, that can't be compared because he's associated with a gang.
Okay,
so regardless, his life is always a target.
But even, okay, like,
regardless if your life, if you're doing any kind of evil, regardless of what, somebody could want to kill you just because. You don't have to
Exactly.
be involved with any type of anything.
Yeah.
If a person just feels that you have the limelight and they want that limelight, they could just kill you. You don't have to be gang related. You don't have to be doing drugs or doing
So
anything
y'all
like
think
that.
that's what this is about? That someone was jealous
I
of
don't
him?
really know.
I don't know if
just
it was
think
somebody
that,
from his past.
to me, I just think it's somebody close to him. I can't say what the reason would be, but I just feel like it's probably somebody close to him.
Okay.
20, I don't know, it's so sad.
He
He's
was just a
20 very
teenager.
young. Yeah, you
young.
just starting to really soar in
Yes.
your, like 20 years old. I can remember about 20 years old. Like, it's sad. It's a sad situation.
We would love to keep the tea spilling, but unfortunately we're running out of time. But you can keep the conversation going by leaving your comments below and on Facebook and Instagram at Cocktails and Conversations.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you Wednesday night for Cocktails and Conversations with a Twist.
Good night.